right. Welcome back to another episode of the Crease Dive. Thank you for tuning in today after the 1 week hiatus due to scheduling conflicts, all the other things. But today is Thursday, May 2nd. May is here, Nestler. May is here. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Conference tournaments weekend coming up. A lot of games today on Thursday, a lot of games tomorrow. Should be a fun weekend of lacrosse. Selection show Sunday. So when you want to play your best ball this weekend. This is when you want to. It doesn't matter what happened the rest of the year. You want to play your best ball this weekend. Maybe steal a bid or two. But I know I'm excited. I know that you are coming into the last days of Cabrini. So I know you just got the shit kicked out of you guys.
All right. No. Yes, Cabrini got shelled by Salisbury. Salisbury's really good. But Cabrini fought. That's what sucks. They played really well, in my opinion. I've seen Cabrini play worse games this year. But there'll be 32 Division III teams left come this Sunday. And Cabrini is going to be one of them, which I think is really fucking cool. I don't care how easy or hard a bid is for them. They'll be one of the teams in the tournament that's something to hang their hat on. And then guess what? It only takes 5 wins to win the Natty. So you never know. Never say never. I'll be cheering for them. But, it sucks. This is the best time of the year for lacrosse, but it's tough. What are you bringing up here? Not great. One of those wins Nest was in the cage for. Don't forget it. First win ever against Salisbury. Those watching, Doogs is bringing up the history of Salisbury versus Cabrini. And then that last win against Salisbury came game before he won the Natty. Yeah, Salisbury's good, man. They're fucking Cabrini's undertaker, nemesis, whatever you want to call it. I'm never going to give them their flowers. They've gotten enough flowers. But it's just tough. I don't really like those guys. I know they don't like me, so it is what it is. But it wasn't great. We got some D1 stuff to talk about, D3 and Cabrini. So that's a positive. But Doogs is trying his best to make me very upset looking back at the history of all the Salisbury Cabrini games.
Can I say something honestly?
Yes.
I was trying to give Cabrini their flowers, like being like they finished off like because the way again I'm not like a Cabrini historian like you, but as your your friend and co-host, the way you talked about the Cabrini Salisbury rivalry, I think I thought it was closer than it actually was.
Well, yeah.
And I will give you credit. In the time that you were there, you guys did get both wins in program history. So that is legitimately something to hang your hat on. But on the other hand, it is I was just looking up what is the history of Cabrini Salisbury? Man, that's not even close.
No, it's not. I mean, just to be completely
and now
honest,
it's over.
I know. Well, you never know. We always seem to see him in the tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if Cabrini sees him first round of the tournament. That's when we come up and get them. They big bro us, which sucks. It's annoying, but little bro wins every once in a while. That 2019 class got the last laugh. Fucked some Salisbury kids who left because of COVID the next year. They never got the ring maybe they wanted as real players. But I don't know, that it's hard to lie and say that Salisbury, isn't the biggest wagon in D3 history. I mean, they have the most championships. They're always in it. They go on insane win streaks. I don't think they've lost this year. So I guess that's me giving them their only flowers you can get out of me. I fucking hate you guys. I fucking hate the Seagulls. I love Cabrini, and my hate for Salisbury will continue on. But, those numbers don't look great. So I'm with you there. But like I said, it'll be nice to see Cabrini get a bid to the tournament, and you never know what can happen. I'm in their corner.
Yeah. Some programs celebrate championships, others celebrate bids. Right. Is that what you're saying? I'm just kidding. I'm done busting balls. You have a ring. You have a ring. You have a ring. You have a ring. You can handle the heat because you guys beat Salisbury. You got a ring. But I'm here to push buttons. Here to push buttons.
There. You got me. I'm fidgeting around at my table right now.
I know, but this is with this. I could see you getting more red, and I was like, you you don't understand me. This is when I know to keep going. No, but let's talk about
Yeah.
some D1 lacrosse action. All right,
Yes,
we're gonna
sir.
do, maybe we'll do like a little D3 deep dive. Look at Cabrini. Look at the path for Cabrini because Cabrini. The good thing is this is translate from D3 to D1. Everyone has a path in May. There's a path for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Cabrini's path this year might be Salisbury losing or somehow like maybe some bounces break your way. But in the Division One realm, let's get started. I mean, let's not do too much of a recap. Um, the only thing of note really from last week, and then I'd like to touch on is just like North Carolina beating Duke. Now Virginia dropping 3 straight. So that's just some things that we'll just touch on entering the tournament, like so ACC wise. But this week, score wise, there's some games earlier in the week. I think the game that really stood out to everybody was the BU Colgate 3 overtime thriller, 18-17, an absolute shootout. Great game. Look, I thought Colgate was fraudulent.
Okay.
Not as fraudulent as I thought.
I think Colgate was right where I thought they were, which is a lot better than in the past. I still didn't really think I didn't think they were going to beat BU going into the game. Watching the game, I was like, oh shit, this is a game that Colgate might steal. The longer overtime went on, though, the more you kind of got that feeling like the BU goalie made a couple saves. And I was like, see, that could be it. You make 2-3 saves in overtime, and that's usually enough to make another team just to make one mistake, and that's what happened. I mean, that game was awesome. Colgate boys bowed this year, so shout out to those boys. But just a tough way to end your season, and that's what sucks about D1. You lose your conference, and it's almost impossible to get an at-large bid. There's so few of them. So unfortunately, those Colgate boys are saying goodbye. But we've talked about them a lot this year, so I think that's a good sign. If you're being talked about, you're doing something right.
I like that, Ness. Why didn't you go D1? Why didn't you go D1? I wanted to make the tournament consistently. Like I think that's like a not a bad spin zone. Like there isn't. It's not all perks for D1.
No, you're packing up your bags in April 90 unless you're a premier team in D1. It's shout out the Premier Lacrosse League. Fuck, I'm stuttering. But yeah, unless you're one of the top team D1s, it's like miraculous to make the tournament. I know teams that get rings for winning their conference in Division 1. And they're bigger than our fucking national championship ring. That's no disrespect because it is a good accomplishment. Division 1 talent level is insane. But like teams celebrate making the tournament in Division 1, that they really hang their hats on those, which is fine. I don't disrespect it. It's just a different world because there's so many less teams. It's half the field.
It's not an awful point, but let's look at a couple of the games. Starting out today, you got let's start with the Big East tournament. You got Denver, Villanova. What do you make about this game? I think I've said this in the past. I'll start this one off. Good start to the Matt Brown era. It's Denver got talent all over the field. It looks like your classic like kind of like Bill Tierney team. Not much has changed from that. What you're watching as Denver. The only thing that really changes is just who's on the sideline. But Villanova, I think losing Capola for the year really hurt them. Just gaining extra possessions. They're clearly a team that not as talented, I'd say, as they in the past. I actually think this is a pretty bad Nova team for however you look at Nova. Personally, like I look at them as a pretty top. They're Nova top 3. They're still like probably the 3rd best team, 4th best team in the Big East, which is I think where they usually historically lie. But I think this is one of the lesser talented teams. Like the gap between them and Georgetown is ginormous, and same with Denver.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Villanova, like you said, Villanova's always kind of just been like right in that spot. I know they had some really good years when they had like Keegan Kahn and Kirst, and they had Crawley, and and they had Matt Campbell and some really good players. Shout out McManus. But it's tough. I mean, the Big East is good. Denver's, like you said, Denver's going to be good. I'd love to see Villanova keep it close and maybe even an upset. Maybe I'll pull for Villanova. They haven't acquired Cabrini just yet. After that, I will hate them, but we'll see. I mean, Denver's solid, and those teams in the Big East. I wonder, how many teams in the Big East do you think, if they don't win the tournament, can make? If they don't win the Big East tournament, can make?
Two. It's just two.
And that's just Denver and Georgetown.
Yeah, it's just two, and both will get in
And
probably no matter what.
You think that's all, like they lose, they're like, oh, we're still going to be in, or you think if they lose, they're like, oh fuck, we gotta hope.
No, Denver's 11-2. Like just looking at the RPI, Denver's 5, Georgetown's 11. I mean, if you're Georgetown, you'd feel comfortable. You feel comfortable with the win, like winning, like. And then here's just like for anybody that like wants to know what like. Here's the criteria. Just for anybody that doesn't know what it is, I'll pull that up right now. This is why you listen to the YouTube. This is why you subscribe. Here's the criteria that we're pulling up. So it's strength of schedule, results of the RPI, record against ranked teams, 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, 16 through 12, 21 plus, average RPI win, average RPI lost, head-to-head competition, results versus common opponents, significant wins and losses, location of contests, and input from regional advisory committee.
Well, there you have it. That's from the desk of Doogs. He's going to give you the information you need to know what.
So then when you look at just the RPI in general,
yeah,
I'll share that. Then you'll be able to kind of see. So you see, like Georgetown's win over Notre Dame will hold.
Yeah, that's like massive weight as far as the RPI, like that whole the RPI and the strength of opponent and the wins against ranked opponents. They're kind of like triple hitting there with that win against Notre Dame. That's like
right, like you got so Georgetown's only bad loss is Loyola, which besides that they have a loss to 5 Denver. And then Johns Hopkins. I mean, that win over Notre Dame almost cancels out that Loyola win. So,
yeah,
I think they'll be fine. I'd have to see. Like, let me just see one thing. Yeah, I think they're fine. Actually, I know they're fine. They have to be fine.
Someone's gonna get. I don't think it's gonna be
because
one of
like they beat Penn head to head.
Penn, like University Penn.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I mean, again, it just sucks because someone's going to get screwed who's going to be right there. It's just a matter of who. I'm with you. I think Georgetown and Denver are pretty safe bets. I'd be real curious if fucking someone else wins the Big East. Then it might not be so safe anymore because then when bids start to get stolen, that's when it gets like dangerous for those automatic for the at-large bids.
So they lost to Loyola is a 23. Okay. This is one. If they lose to Providence, I think they could be out.
That's
which I haven't really considered yet.
It's almost like a must win. And your boys in Providence, they'd love to play spoiler shit. They beat Georgetown, then they're like, oh fuck, we need 1, maybe 2 more wins, and we're in the fucking and we're dancing in May.
Yeah, so in the Big East tournament, we're looking at Providence is a 6.5 point underdog. What do you like in that one? That's a night game, 8:30.
And I'll ride the Friars with you. I mean, just making sure you're.
Fuck it, why not?
I'll take those points and fuck. I got no dog in the fight besides riding a little bit for Friday, so I'll back them to hopefully win if I had a choice.
Hungry dogs run faster. Then we got Villanova, Denver. Denver's -4.
I'll take Villanova plus 4.5. I think they keep it close. These end of the season games get. People empty the tank, so expect good games this weekend, which I think that's why we all watch, isn't it? We watch some really good fucking games. The slate is almost like drool worthy. I'm looking up and down Thursday and Friday right now, and it's just like unfathomable how great these games are.
Yeah, I like Denver -4.
All right, we'll go against each other there. That's fine.
Yeah, I Villanova the last time they played, I think had Capola who could get them as those extra possessions. It was a 3-goal game. But I think Denver kind of runs away with this one. And then in A10 land, which is where Dayton will be soon enough running shit. So get your shots in now, A10, okay? You want to win some championships, get it when Dayton's not in there. But you got St. Joe's, UMass. St. Joe's is 3.5 point favorites. Who you got?
I like taking points. I'm gonna take UMass 3.5. Didn't St. Joe's just lose to someone? Or no, they just beat Richmond. They just beat Richmond last weekend.
Yeah, I like this. I'm obsessed with St. Joe's.
St. Joe's is
Um,
on a heater, dude. They haven't lost since March 3rd.
yeah, I'm in
That's
love. I'm in love with St. Joe's.
Yeah, I was on them early. Oh, they started 0-3 and then haven't lost since. That's all right. Respect to the St. Joe's boys. I did not
Yeah,
know you were. I knew they were good. I didn't know they were on a. I haven't lost since February 27th heater, but they can ball. I'll take, but I'm
yeah.
still
I think
taking.
that core that they've had for the past couple of years, like Bomber, Levi Anderson. Both. I think especially Levi Anderson, and like I think he got drafted in the NLL. I know he got drafted in the NLL. I think he'll be on a PLL roster. Big Asher esque player. I love watching Levi Anderson. Bomber is one of my favorite players to watch. I like what they could do out of the midfield as well. I think they got some weapons that might not like produce the numbers that stereotypically come from like the midfield position that you might see, but I think Colin Reach is like a great like piece to this offense, and he's been like a first second line midi for the
Yeah,
past couple of years. But yeah, I love this core. This is like their last shot at it, so I actually have them winning the A10
there you go.
altogether.
Until
Then
date
Richmond,
until date
yeah,
comes in.
and then Richmond High Point tonight, and then that's Richmond -4. Who you got in that one?
I'll take Richmond. I've been hyping up the Spiders. I'm big on them. Big rivalry. If you don't remember us arguing about that. Yeah, I'll take
Richmond
this.
High Point.
Yeah, I think we're maybe we were more. I think we were more focused on if Richmond was a lot better than High Point. We don't need to dive back into it. Just a funny. But give me the Spiders. What about you?
I'll take High Point +4.
All right.
I'll take High
All
Point
right.
+4. I think I'll use your reasoning. Expect close games this weekend.
Fair. Fair.
But I do, yeah. I don't know. I kind of like when I know some seniors that like I like Maea, like Brady Maea out of High Point. When I think about like those types of guys that I remember watching like 4 years ago, being as freshmen when he's like playing with Asher, and it's like the last shot sort of thing. I do agree with that. I like storyline sometimes. I like big games. I think big game Maea. So I'll ride High Point. I like High Point.
I respect it.
Let's see. Yeah. All right, let's go to the Big Ten. Michigan Hopkins. Hopkins -3.5. That's at 6 p.m. Who you got?
Give me Hop, baby. Like Crawley's got those boys jumping down there. Is the Big Ten play at neutral sites for the Big Ten tournament? Is it like all one host
Mm,
site? I think it is.
Not 100% sure.
It says Hopkins is home on Inside Lacrosse, but I think that's just based off seating. Either way, I'll take Hop. Yeah, I just think they pour it on. What about you?
I like Michigan to keep this close. I think they've been playing better ball as of late. I know there's like a crazy stat. They just like absolutely own Ohio State recently. Um, but I remember watching the Hopkins Michigan game. I was pretty impressed with the way that Michigan fought 3.5 points during tournament time. Give me Michigan.
Fair enough.
Give me Michigan.
One more big
And
one.
in the second Big Ten game, we have Maryland, Penn State.
What is this spread?
Maryland +1.5.
Oof.
I love Maryland.
Like I want to take Penn State. They lost by 2 last time they played Maryland. Um, I'm gonna take Penn State. I'll probably regret that because Maryland's just historically a very very good lacrosse team in May. A lot of guys on that team have been around winning culture. Their coach certainly has been. So that'll be tough. But I'm gonna take Penn State. I'll take 1.5. I'll probably sprinkle a little money line responsibly.
Yeah, and again, like hopping into some storylines after this game, we're gonna talk. I want to talk to you a little bit about like Albany Merrimack, which I can't see the line for the game because I'm in New York. But Merrimack's coach stepped down. Um, during this exact game, a Merrimack player shouted a slur at a Native American player on UAlbany. So the coach stepped down. The player was suspended, but
What is the coach? Did he step down? Like, I saw that. Is he coaching the rest of the season, or is he gone as we're talking right now?
that's a good question. I just assumed it was going to be right
Maybe
away.
I thought it was end of the year, but maybe
Would make sense.
because if he stepped down like right away, that makes me think that there's way more to that story than to the naked eye, which is never really good for the team that's getting rid of their coach. Um, I'm trying to find the line real quick for us on this great draft.
He was stepping down. I mean,
God, I feel like
just
Merrimack
I
is
don't think
plus 5.5 against Albany, plus 600 money line. So we'll see. That's going to be. I mean, when you start crossing those kind of boundaries, those kids on Albany are going to want to make it fucking rain on Merrimack. Um, so we'll see how much they do that.
I think he's just gone. I mean, nothing says like he'll finish out the year.
Wow, yeah, that's no good. That seems to me like
Yeah, that other members of the staff would take over the remainder of the games. Yeah, he's
wow.
gone.
That's very very rare. That again, that makes it seem like on the back end of things something must have happened. Obviously the incident happened, but maybe it's the way it was
Save
handled.
face. I mean, it's not that shocking in my opinion. Like one of
Well,
your players that you lead in the locker room. Like I'm not saying it's the guy's fault. It's like, but as like the school, like you can't really stand for that. It's
yeah,
not the most shocking thing.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, yeah, I guess I more so just think maybe again the way I'm viewing it is maybe he mismanaged the reporting and the uh what's it called, like taking action on it, and that's what led to him stepping down. And again, stepping down easily could be a different word for getting fired.
The coach also could have just left.
Exactly. I'm speculating. I'm fully speculating. It could have been voluntary. It could have been forced. It could have been a lot of things. I wasn't aware he left like for the season. To me, that speaks a little louder than him stepping down at the end of the year. But again, we'll see that game. Expect Albany to bring everything they have. That's going to be a game to keep an eye on for score watching.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting storyline perspective. And obviously, we won't really know the Saturday Sunday games yet because just the nature of a tournament is usually when you win on a Thursday or Friday, you'll play on Saturday, Sunday. That's just mansplaining tournaments for all you guys. But yeah, I mean, before diving into Friday's games, the last one, the coaching carousel, or just a news story we'll talk about is Mike Daly stepped down at Brown. So they're obviously going to be immediately searching for a coach. Shame. I mean, he thrived at the D3 level at Tufts. I think he'll bounce back on his feet. I think that he'll send another team to the tournament. I think that he is a great coach that, you know, coaching an Ivy, in my opinion, and getting a program started after, started, I think his first year was with Dylan Malloy and Larkin. And then, 2020 kind of hits you in the face, which that's like in the middle of like when you're trying to get things rolling, in my opinion, year 3, year 4. So that sucks. I think that was a very tough time to come in as a coach. It's like kind of like your third year with COVID, with recruiting and everything in the Ivy, which I do believe took a hit. Like, yes, CJ Kirst was already committed to like Cornell. Like there were guys already committed to these programs, but even a team like Yale, I think, kind of lost a little bit of their culture because of the COVID years. So I think that the Ivies took a little bit of a hit. This is just my opinion too, pure speculation, because of the COVID year. But he'll bounce back on his feet. I'm curious to see who Brown will get.
Same. I mean, Brown, I think lacrosse is better when Brown's good. Just looking back on their last 2 years, they're 9-18 throughout 2023 and 2024. So, that's 6-8 and 3-11. Those are two pretty down years for a program that I think, we've seen in championship weekend. We've seen them have some of the best players, in the country. Um, from everything I've heard, Mike Daly's like an unbelievable coach. From everything I've seen that Larkin said, the coach at Tufts, Casey something, can't pronounce his last name.
Denorfio.
Yeah, a bunch of letters in it that I can't say.
Same, I've heard mispronounce it.
He was stepping up to the plate for him. So hopefully he finds a good gig, and hopefully Brown finds their guy. I'd love to see Brown get back to that run and gun offense, just putting up tons of points, and hopefully they can land a couple good recruits. I'm not tuned into the high school world enough to know like if they're loaded up next year or if they have a couple shitty classes coming in. I'm really not sure, but there's going to be a kid out there who shows up is going to try to bring Brown back to being a contender in the Ivies to start, and then from there, hopefully they can get back to contending in the tournament.
Yes, I agree. And I wish Mike Daly well. Let's talk about Friday's games. I fucking love. Let's just talk about this really quick. There is nothing better in the fucking world than a loaded Friday lacrosse night. 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is just loaded to shit with awesome fucking games. Ivy, ACC. This is like great beer drinking weather right now. There's nothing better that I like, and I say this maybe 3 times a fucking year, where you just get that fucking extension cord. If you're like not rich like me and don't have a TV outside, get that extension cord going from the apartment all the way outside to the fucking deck. You get 2 TVs going. You're watching fucking music videos on one. You're watching lacrosse on the other, and there's no better feeling in the fucking world. And it's a loaded slate. It starts off right away with Army BU. Awesome. Roll that into Notre Dame, Virginia. Awesome. 6 p.m. Princeton, Yale. Fucking amazing. 8 p.m. Syracuse, Duke. Fuck yeah. 8:30 Cornell, Penn. That is a loaded fucking slate.
And they did us a treat. But the spacing of these games is how the spacing of lacrosse games should be the whole year. I get it. They can't do it, whether it's fucking TV deals or scheduling with schools. But this, like, that hour between each gives that March Madness feel that, like, hey, all right, this game's on. Well, it's about to be halftime. Well, the Notre Dame game's about to come on. Notre Dame gets to close to halftime. Well, now the Princeton game's on. And you kind of get that. At one point, there'll be 3 or 4 going on at the same time. One will be closing out, one starting up, 2 in the middle. I'm with you, dudes. I'm fired up. My buddy, shout out Jay Klein, Cabrini guy, he just hit me up. He's like, dude, we have so much lacrosse to watch tomorrow. He's like, I can't wait to just sit at our apartment and just fucking crush lacrosse. We'll have a similar setup. You get the 2 TVs, whether you have the speaker system going and the game's on the TV or a little monitor on the side. But
right,
this is this is like prime time lacrosse. You got the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs going on, but there's just not a ton of games going on in both those playoffs right now. I'm all in on lacrosse. My Stars don't play till late. Not worried about it. I'm fired up. I'm just reiterating. You said it. It's going to be special, and you only get it once a year. It's really only once a year.
If you like the Thursday slate, you're gonna fucking love the Friday slate. Let's just roll into this. Some lines I don't have because of New York State's, but who do you got in Army BU? I think this is a great fucking game. Is this for the championship? I want to make sure. I want to get this right. Can't even tell because there's so much lacrosse. It's overwhelming.
No, that's Patriot League, right?
Yes. Okay. So Lehigh Navy on the other side. Okay.
Yeah, Lehigh still.
But that is a championship game in itself.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the troops. I'm gonna take the Army boys. They were at one point at the top of the mountain. It's hard to stay up there. They've skied down a little bit, but I think that's a winnable. I think it's a winnable game for both teams. I think Army's gonna come out on top. I'm gonna try to get a spread for us. But yeah, I like Army. What about you? I think it'll be a great game.
I'm in on BU. I'm in on BU. I think this is a must win for both of them.
Plus two
to keep tournament hopes alive. So I will go BU in this one. And
is Army out if they don't win?
That's tough because I don't know how much they'll drop in the RPI.
Yeah,
but I believe so. I'd have to check their full on schedule, but
Yeah.
You have to see how the rest of it. You have to see how the rest of it shakes out. But then you got Notre Dame, Virginia. Virginia dropped 3 straight. They just lost to Notre Dame. They dropped 2 straight against Notre Dame now in the semis and last year, and then obviously this year. But what do you think about this game? I think Notre Dame is -1.5. Yeah, Notre Dame -1.5.
You know, we're a Schellenberger and a McCabe Millen podcast, but I ride with my boy Chris Conlon, Notre Dame. You know, Liam and Net. So I'm gonna take the Irish. I think they're gonna win. Is Virginia like in dangerous territory of not getting a bid?
No,
Like,
no,
like you think they're not even worried?
they're
I
not.
agree. I agree with you. I just
They're not even sweating.
fair.
They're like all their losses are to top tier opponents. They're not even sweating a little bit. They'd like to win, but like they'll be fine in the RPI. I like Notre Dame in this one. I truly just believe that Entman is the difference between where Duke is right now, where Virginia is what puts Notre Dame from the rest is Liam Entman and Cage. So I ride with Notre Dame to the day I die. Notre Dame -1.5.
Fair.
And then going on that, we got Princeton, Yale. Princeton just beat Yale.
Beat the brakes off.
Yeah, so little rematch in the Ivy semis. Who you got in this one?
Fuck, I don't have the spread for that one. So I'm in
Princeton's +1.5.
Dude, I think Yale's got. I think Yale. I think Yale's gonna win the game. I think Princeton. I don't know. I'm not sold on Princeton. I feel like every week we talk about them, they either like lose a bad game or win a really good game. The Ivy's such a toss up. I'm just really not sure. But I'm gonna ride with the Yale boys. I've been all over Matt Brandau all year. I think he's phenomenal. I think he could come out and put up 8-9 points and send Yale to the Ivy League championship game. So give me Yale.
Yeah, I like Yale -1.5. I kind of agree with what you said. I think rivalry bounce back. Everyone's gonna want Princeton +1.5 after beating the brakes off them. Give me Yale -1.5. And then in the Patriot League semis, we have Navy Lehigh -1.5. Who you got?
Oh. I was that good this year. And then I watched a little bit of that game this week, and they look good. And that quarterback down there who flies around, give me Navy. I used to be a Hawks supporter. Colin Kurse killed the Hawks. They're dead. Let's go Navy.
Yeah, I'm taking Navy because I like to watch Xavier R-Line. Just toast kids.
Yeah, he's so athletic. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I'll take Navy just for fun. Then 8 p.m. we have Syracuse Duke. Tell you what, before we get into that, I don't have the spread, but one of those teams I believe is going to be in the Final Four.
Would you like to guess the spread?
Duke -1.5.
Duke -1.5. It's a good call, Dukes.
And I will be taking the team. That is going to make the Final Four. Syracuse +1.5.
Fair enough. I'm going to take Cuse. I feel like I've kind of been rooting for him all year. I still love that people hate on Joey Spallina. I think he's so good, and I just think it's funny. Don't necessarily hate Duke, just don't really have a reason to root for him. So I'll be rooting for the boys in orange up in New York. So give me them. I'll take a money line +100.
Yeah, it's just Cuse is loaded in my opinion,
Yep.
and they have completely flipped. They are a couple goals away from the narrative being are they the best team in the country.
I agree. I mean, we went through their losses at one point. I think they have 3 overtime losses.
Overtime loss to Maryland. Overtime loss to Army. Overtime loss to Cornell. 2-goal loss to Notre Dame.
Yep. That's 4 goals. That's 5 goals in 4. You lost by a total of 5 goals in 4 games, and 3 of those 4 went to fucking overtime.
Now, the one thing you have to worry about is rust versus rest. The last time they played was 420. But
Shout out 420 though.
shout out Hitler's birthday.
Whoa,
No,
no.
I'm kidding. That is true. That is true.
I know.
So
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, it's 420. 420. I thought Earth Day was 420 too, though. But I guess it's
Yeah.
just Hitler's birthday and
just weed.
National Weed Day.
Yeah, the story behind 420 is actually like kind of like weird. I think of like why it is. It's like I don't think it's as interesting as I
Isn't
don't
it
know
like the
it.
chemical? Isn't it like the chemical compound of
I don't think it's
THC?
that. It's like some like herb. I think it's like a bunch of kids kind of started like back in like the heyday. These kids were just like huge potheads. Like I think it's like a weird story that like almost doesn't really make sense. I don't know it. I could be fucking talking on my ass, but I'm
One of
pretty
the Waldo members, Dave Reddix, later got worked as a roadie for the Grateful Dead, and the band helped to popularize the term. He told Time, specifically a flyer distributed by a group of Oakland Deadheads in December 1990, inviting people to smoke on April 20th at 4:20 p.m. Did the trick.
So it's just like it's like people just like started it, which I respect. I mean, it's sick. One of my
Yeah, it's
favorite,
awesome.
probably a top 5 holiday for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um,
I haven't really, I don't really celebrate anymore. Like if it's like on a Friday or Saturday, I don't celebrate anymore. But if it's like on a Sunday or any other day of the week, honestly, I will.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think I did too much to celebrate, but it's just like something feels good about being with the fellas on 420. I think just a
There's
nice.
also something to be said about like the legalization of pot, just like completely killed 420 and like the aura
Yeah,
behind it.
that's totally fair. I mean, sneaking off into the woods with your boys back in like high school was like a top tier moment. Like just like you have like a quarter of an ounce and you feel like you are like on top of the world smoking like an old gas station bowl and you just like smoking up doing whatever and it's like a huge deal. But I agree. I think getting older and the legalization of marijuana has killed the aura as well. But this guy was
Yeah,
walking around the city just handing out joints. I was like, that's pretty cool. The joints sucked, but that guy ruled for handing them out. It was probably his job, but he just had like a giant bag of joints. I was like, yeah, let me get 3 of those bad boys.
and then the last game, I can't see the spread. Cornell, Penn. I don't care. I'm taking Cornell. I don't even care what the spread is. It could be 1, it could be 3. I love CJ Kirst. I think Michael Long is so good, plays off Kirst so well. I love that little shifty attackman that they
Yep.
have that causes mismatch problems, gets the offense turning a little bit for them. Hugh Keller is one of my favorite midfielders to watch in the country. Some GC boys on that team. Give me Cornell.
Yeah, I'm on Cornell. If you haven't watched, tune into Through X with CJ Curse this week. It's an
Awesome. Yeah, awesome show.
absolute treat. If you're a
Um,
Ross fan or just a fan of this or just a fan of CJ Kirst, it's a good one.
that's all I have really to talk about. Jared Connors just got traded to the
Yeah.
Redwoods. Great pickup after Sexton retires. Congrats to John Sexton on retirement. Great dude. One of my favorite LSMs ever to watch at Notre Dame in the pros. One of the most underappreciated players, I think, to ever pick up a lacrosse stick. So shout out to Sexton. Shout out to Jared Connors. Great pickup for the Woods.
Yeah, I'm excited for the PL to get going. The layout's nice that we get the treat of May lacrosse Memorial Day weekend ends, and then that following weekend the Premier Lacrosse League and the big guns they kick off in Albany, and it'll be cool to see the guys who get drafted. The guys we've been watching all year. They pop right in and start playing. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. I'm excited. The boys up at the PLL do a great job of putting on a show. So we'll see how it works out this summer. Pretty loaded schedule for you guys.
Anything you got?
Not much. Just me. I'm almost like I'm so locked in on Cabrini and just trying to soak it all in. It's almost like sad at this point, but it'll be gone before I know it. So if you're around May 4th at Radnor, Pennsylvania, come by. There'll be more booze than there's ever been at the campus. There'll be more food and there'll be more people. It'll be the biggest lacrosse event in Cabrini history. Men and women both playing for a bid to the tournament. So shout out to them. And that's really it. I mean, again, I said in the beginning of the episode, this is crunch time. Kids pack their bags, kids suit up for the last time of their careers this weekend. I'm like kind of a pussy and like feel bad. Like I have this like weird thing about me is like much as I like to compete, I like feel so bad for people when their like seasons and career ends. And I think it's like my worst quality as a competitor that like it's like damn, like they're done like because everyone knows the feeling of having your season end, whether it's high school, college, no matter what, like that feeling like sucks and you can't go back and change it. And when I watch these games, even if I'm betting on a team, even if I have $100 on a team, I catch myself rooting, and then I'm like, "Fuck!" Like I feel bad that I'm rooting against these kids so badly to lose, and then I'm like, "Dude, I'm such a pussy." Um,
Yeah, I don't care at all.
yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
careers come to an end.
yeah,
That's like I do not like nobody cares about that person's career ending. It's happened a million times. It'll happen a million more times. It's the only thing that they're like crying about is like reality hitting them in the face that like they weren't as athletic as I thought they were.
fair. I think it's the time with the boys that hurts that I'm like rooting for them to separate from their boys because I love my boys. So it
See,
is what
like
it
I think that's fair, but I think that's just like my perspective would be like that's like everyone with graduation.
Yeah, but imagine like but it would be like if I was rooting for you when you're at Dayton, like, hey, I'm rooting for your graduation to be like April 26th instead of like May 15th. You'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, fuck you. Like, let me hang out for 3 more weeks with my boy. Again, it's my soft quality.
I don't think that's so. I think that's so different. I think that is so different. It's it is so different because you're rooting for like you're just playing a game.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like nobody's stopping you guys from hanging out.
Yeah, but that's just again, it's just
There's necessarily there's something. I agree, kind of what you're saying, but I'm gonna have to put on the semantics hat. I do believe to some extent that if I was like, hey, like you guys can't play lacrosse anymore, that sucks. But you get 3 weeks where you guys get to drink together and hang out. I'm not speaking for you or for anybody, but I would
no, I agree.
gander that a couple guys are like, "Ah, we don't give a fuck."
No, 100%. My point being is that graduation happened like I looked at it like this. When we went on our run at Cabrini, it was like we got extra time after graduation that we never would have gotten. And that's I think where it stems from where it's like it's not that they can't hang out because of like obviously if you lose and your season ends and you have 2 weeks, you're gonna booze with all the boys. It's gonna be some of your best memories. I agree with you 100%. I'm saying for those who those who aren't graduating and classes end between May 1st and May 8th, like if your season ends now, it's like this might be your last weekend with all the fellas. Even if it's not, people start to trickle out. I
Fair.
know if you wanted to, obviously in
I
life,
didn't realize that.
you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can be like, hey, let's do a beach weekend, May 14th, get all the boys together. But I mean, you know what it's like. When you graduate from Dayton, it would have been sick to stay an extra month, but it's hard to get 10 of your homies to be like, yo, I'm going to stay down in Dayton and not work for an extra month.
So I also think that like I do know some lacrosse guys, or just like that they were like, we have our house, like we're just gonna stay for 2 weeks, and a bunch of
Yeah,
people did
fair.
like that.
100%. 100%.
But if it was at like Cabrini or whatever, like people did trickle out like kind of like this weekend, that blows.
Yeah, that's my point. Is like sometimes it's like, damn, is this really going to be it with everyone? Obviously, you stay in touch with your close friends, but again, hand up. I said it before I started. A little bit of a pussy move, maybe a little bit of a sentimental nest, which is fine. It's okay to show emotion. That's why we do this.
One
But
last thing, can I is there some realm where it's just like and this is just me asking, is there some realm where you think Cabrini guys are just like, dude, we don't even want to make the tournament?
no, 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 because
Like
they
we just want to booze this weekend. Like, what do you think they
no,
will? Like,
because they're gonna again. I think graduation, like the way I look at it is if they win this weekend, which they will, they get to experience like a night and an atmosphere with alums and family and friends of like so much happiness boozing. You're gonna booze win or lose. Lacrosse teams booze. They like to party. But boozing after a win and getting a bid to go play in the NCAA tournament, I promise you it feels so good. Like it's just like I said, even if it's easy and you know it's coming, it still feels awesome when you're like, holy fuck, we're dancing and 200 teams just packed their bags. 200 teams dapped each other up and cleaned out their lockers Monday morning, where we get to go. That's when you, I think that's when you want to play the most. Sometimes middle of April or middle of you're like, this is getting old, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm out here every fucking day. But then as it dwindles down, you're almost willing to do anything to stay out there, even the shitty practices. So I don't think, especially on this Cabrini team where they came back specifically for lacrosse,
Yeah.
young kids only stayed to play lacrosse. There was no benefit for them to stay at that fucking shithole school that's going under, the scumbag rats that ran into the ground. But no, I think they want to get a win, go dancing, and make it through that first weekend of NCAA games. And then there's only 8 teams left. The D3 tour. I'll dive into that another. But the D3 tournament setup is the dumbest thing in lacrosse history. How you play your games. It's honestly sad, and they changed it recently to make it worse, which is just stupid. But you play back-to-back games. If you win Saturday first round, you wake up the next day and play the second round. So if Cabrini gets a win, they got to wake up Sunday and play their next game. It's like, what the fuck? We didn't even get to practice. We didn't even get to.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's stupid, but it is what it is. That's why you play D3. To have stupid shit like that happen. Very excited for D1 and D3 boys. Thanks to all you sickos who tune in and just fired up to get going. Hopefully get Jordy back for the summer. I know he's been busy, and just looking forward to some fun. Lacrosse isn't over in May. It's just the beginning of a fun summer.
Yep, should be a fun summer. Thank you, Nest. Thank you to the listeners. We will be back Sunday. Immediate reaction to the selection show, and then we're just gonna get this shit rolling in the deep. We're gonna just be balls deep in lacrosse from here on out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out. Love you. Thanks for tuning in.
Love you guys.